Hey, I'm Samnang. This is SNJ Pride, the podcast where two gay men who've been together for over 11 years keep it all the way real about coming out, love, and everything in between. If you've ever felt alone, stuck in the closet, or scared you'll never find real, healthy love, this is your space. Hit subscribe, take a breath.
And I'm James. We're not perfect. We're not your therapists. We're just here to share what we've lived, so you don't have to walk this road alone. You're home. Welcome to SNJ Pride.
If you're the kind of person who thinks asking for help is admitting you're broken, listen to this. Holding it together all the time can quietly burn the thing you love most. Tonight, I'm going to tell you the night I finally said, I need you, and what changed after that. Trigger warning. I talk about a panic episode and emotional breakdown. If that's sensitive for you, please take care and consider listening with support nearby. Today's episode is for anyone who carries everything alone because asking feels like weakness, shame, or danger. I'll tell the story, I'll tell you what James felt when I said those words, and I'll give you 4 practical things you can try tonight. Let's get into it. I grew up believing one thing about strength. You keep your problems to yourself. Where I come from, showing need meant risking shame, losing face, or disappointing people you love. So I learned to be quiet. That quiet turned into a habit. Small lies like I'm fine and I've got it that stacked until they were heavier than the truth. What I didn't see was how those small lies crept into my marriage. I would mask stress with jokes, avoid talking about work that ate me alive, and keep decisions to myself because I was afraid of being a burden. The pressure got so big, it shoved me toward a breakdown. It was a Tuesday. I missed a deadline. Not because I couldn't do the work, but because I couldn't sleep. Because my mind wouldn't stop replaying a rejection that had nothing to do with me. I remember the apartment being too loud in the dark, the refrigerator hum like someone whispering at the edge of my ear. I paced. I tried to breathe. I told myself to be practical, to fix it alone. Then the chest pain came, the one that feels like your ribs are folding inward. I've had anxiety before, but that night was different. I was falling, and every muscle wanted one thing, to call James and say help. I didn't call right away. Old voices in me said, don't make it his problem. Don't ruin his night. You'll fix this by yourself. I sat on the edge of the bed and told myself stories about independence as armor. Then I thought, if I keep doing this, I will lose him. Not to someone else, but to the version of me that's hollowed out by silence. That thought scared me more than being a burden. And so I dialed. My hands were trembling. I remember pressing his face into the phone like a lifeline. I said, quietly, James, I need you. There's a kind of electricity in those words. Saying them felt like stepping off a cliff into the open. For a second, I was terrified. Would he think I was weak? Would he resent me for disrupting his evening? But the line didn't lead to punishment. It led to him. He came home. He sat with me. He held me through a panic that felt like thunder. That first night didn't fix everything. It did something harder. It made me stop pretending that asking was failing. I want to be clear. Saying I need you didn't immediately make me whole. The days after were awkward. I had to explain what the panic felt like. I had to admit the little lies and the quiet decisions. I had to accept help in practical ways. Therapy, medication conversation, and honestly, letting James make appointments I didn't trust myself to make. That was humbling. That was terrifying. But it was also the beginning of repair. And that repair asked for 2 things, honesty and consistency. Let me tell you what happened from James's side, as I remember it and how he told me later. When I called him that night, James said he felt alarmed, then protective. He later told me he wanted to be careful not to fix everything for me, but he also didn't want to stand by while I suffered. He admitted to me he didn't always know how to respond. Sometimes he froze, sometimes he said the wrong thing, but he always acted with love. The real turning point was when he chose small, consistent actions, checking in at the same time every day, making coffee in the mornings without being asked, and asking, "What do you need from me right now?" Those small behaviors rebuilt safety faster than any single apology.
That's the truth of it. Repair is not one big heroic speech. It's showing up again and again in small ways. For me, the hardest part was learning to ask specifically. Instead of saying, "I'm fine," I learned to say, "I'm overwhelmed and I need 20 minutes of listening," or "I need help making one phone call." Specific asks make it possible for someone to help you without guessing, and that lowers the shame of asking.
So here are the 4 things I want you to try tonight. One listener to another, not therapist to patient. 1. Script a tiny ask. Write one sentence you can say when it's hard. Something like, "I'm having a hard night. Can you sit with me for 15 minutes? 2. Start small. Ask for something concrete and time-limited so the other person can say yes. 3. Build consistency. Pick one small action your partner can do that feels safe and ask for it for a week. A text at noon, a 10-minute call. 4. Know when to get professional help. If panic or depression is frequent or severe, talking to a therapist is not failing. It's practical care. If you're sitting in this right now, feeling like your world will fall apart if you stop holding it all, I see you. You are not weak for needing another person. You are not selfish. You are human. Take a breath with me. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Do that twice. That little practice can steady you long enough to make the call or send the message you've been avoiding. Trust me on that one. I learned this the hard way.
I want to be clear. We're not therapists here. This is lived experience. If this episode brings up something big for you, please consider reaching out to a mental health professional, a crisis line, or someone you trust. If you're in immediate danger, contact your local emergency services. We'll put resource links in the episode notes so you can find help safely and quickly.
If this episode hit you, comment, "I hear you," so we know you're here. Tell us which takeaway you'll try. Script one line and post it. Subscribe if you haven't, and send anonymous stories to our inbox if you want us to share and hold space for them. We read everything. We see you.
Thank you for being here. If you're listening in the quiet, remember, you are not alone. You are not broken. You deserve real love. We're Samnang and James, and this is SNJ Pride. Take a breath. We'll see you next time.
I hear you. You're not alone. This is SNJ Pride.